Ska vi sing one kirtan?
Yeah.
Which one?
I don't play like you.
What do we usually sing here in the evening? Anything in particular? Nothing in particular?
Anything you're inspired to sing.
All right. Let's sound Amana Durmati. I don't remember what page it is, so 164? Does somebody know? 164. The evening tune for Amana Durmati. Just do the regular one.
Okay.
Amana Durmati sangsara vitore poriaya chinumami.
Amana Durmati sangsara vitore poriaya chinumami.
Kavani jajan kono mahajane pataiya dive tumi.
Kavani jajan kono mahajane pataiya dive tumi.
Toya kore more patita dekiya kohilo more kiya.
Toya kori more patita dekiya kohilo more kiya.
Ohe dina jan shunu balokata ulashita hobe hiya.
Ohe dina jan suno balokata ulasita
Tomare karite Shri Krishna Chaitanya Navadipe avatara.
Tomare karite Shri Krishna Chaitanya Navadipe avatara.
Tomare no kato dinahina jane korile na bhava par.
Tomare no kata nina ina jane karile no
Vedera pratigya rakhipa tore Rukmana vipasuta.
Vedera pratikya rakhivara tore Rukmavana viprasuta.
Mahaprabhu name Nariya Mata.
Nariya Mata
Sanghe paya vaduta. Nanda Sutta Jini Chaitanya Goswami Nija Nama Goriyana.
Nanda Sutta Jini Chaitanya Goswami Nija Nama Goriyana.
Chari lo jagat tumi ho jaiya.
Tumi ho jaiya.
Chari lo jagat tumi ho jaiya. Lo nija paridhana.
Hari lo jagat tumi ho jaiya. Navita paridhana.
Shekata suniya siya chinath tomara chana tole.
Lekha suniya yasiya china tumhara charan
Akati vinoda kandiya kandiya apana kahini bole.
Bhakti vinoda kandiya kandiya apana kahini
A wicked mind brought me into this world, O Lord. But one of your pure and elevated devotees has come to bring me out. Oh, do you
He
want to
saw me so fallen and wretched, took pity and came to me, saying, O humbled soul, please listen to this good tiding, for it will gladden your heart.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya has appeared in the land of Navadvip to deliver you. He has safely conducted many miserable souls, such as you, across the sea of worldly existence.
To fulfill the promise of the Vedas, the son of a Brahmana, bearing the name Mahaprabhu of golden complexion, has descended with his brother, the Avadut Nityananda. Together, they have overwhelmed all of Nadia with divine ecstasy.
Sri Chaitanya, who is Krishna himself, the son of Nanda, has saved the world by freely distributing his own holy name. Go also and receive your deliverance.
O Lord, hearing those words, Bhaktivinoda has come weeping to the soles of your lotus feet and tells the story of his life. Jai.
It's amazing because when we're reading Chaitanya Charitamrita and we're hearing Mahaprabhu's touring, all over India, and everybody's astonished by his influence. I kept thinking, what influence? And then I thought, one day it really occurred to me, like if somebody just went to a big football stadium and everybody's going crazy for their team and everything, and then suddenly standing there and everyone begins chanting the holy name of the Lord and weeping and dancing and going home and converting everyone in their neighborhood. It's like that. He just infused everybody's heart with Krishna prema. I mean, I guess that's obvious, but that kind of thing, because we're reading this, we're going, yeah, but how do we know what this is talking about or believe it or see anything about that? It's the influence of the great Vaishnavas who came to take us out. And the first line I really like, because it says, a wicked mind brought me into this world, O Lord. And we think, oh, really? A wicked mind brought me into this world. But actually, it is true that we have free will, and it's almost inconceivable. But from the very beginning, my own nature, my own individual nature, tended to come to this plane of exploitation. And it's my own fault. And I think that's very liberating, because we think we're all, we're like victims of an unfair, it's like, oh, no, you're not. That was you. You got yourself into this mess. But a great soul has come to take us out. Because Krishna is not resentful. He's the Lord. That means he has affection for us by his own nature. And we are naturally, very intimately connected with the Lord. And he never forgets that. Anyway, very many beautiful things about this song. If anyone would like to say anything about it.
And the point you mentioned about people going all insane in West Bengal when Mahaprabhu came, there's even description of how people were taking soil from this place he walked, and they turned ground into it takes so much soil that the massive holes start to appear. And then the whole villages were just going all mad. Like he passed through the village, and then most of the people in the village lost their mind, were crying, rolling. So it's like a divine madness, which like literally like a flow washed off everyone.
It's really so astonishing that could happen, and yet it is happening.
Yeah.
It is happening. We don't even know how many people have come in touch with Krishna consciousness and are really affected by it, and they're just walking around. We don't even know who they are necessarily. But the whole world has definitely been affected. And it will continue. And like Srila Gurudev said, Srila Guru Maharaj said, our best prospect is to be utilized by some beautiful person. Just let me be utilized. in some kind of way. And there's so many lovely points. And when I heard Srila Guru Maharaj talking about this, he's saying, you know, we can never become like possessive or thinking, oh yeah, you know, I got this, you know, I'm really good at this, or I'm, you know, because we're just being utilized. It maybe will be utilized, and we don't even. Sometimes, Guru Maharaj was saying, sometimes the person who is speaking doesn't understand what they're saying as much as the person who's hearing. And then again, Srila Kaviraj Goswami says, yesterday you made me dance, and today you've stopped my dancing. You know, we can't think what I'm going to, you know, become attached to a particular idea about I know, like a sort of an egotistic identification with any particular post or thing. We have to allow ourselves to be moved. Just moved. Let the divine will flowing move us. And sometimes something will come in our lives that we really don't like, right? Nobody's going to say, no, that never happens to me. You know, like... Jai Gurudev. And, but we can't think that the Lord is always going to make me comfortable. Just like a surgeon, he doesn't make anyone comfortable. He's just about, you know, the surgeon is not going to make you feel good, right? But we trust him, and we pay him good money for that. And he's very respected, and we have to have that much trust in the flow of divine will. That what will come to me is by your grace. And that's our really internal practicing life. Guru Maharaj said, this is what our sadhana is. Always being able to see how the Lord is working. I mean, somebody like Saraswati she always thinks like that anyway. But me, I'm always like, oh yeah, I've got a fundamental problem with reality, you know. But so keep trying to remember this, and every situation, and he can actually change our vision. Yes, sir. The gentleman in the back, in the front, actually.
About the sense of purpose, like because in the day-to-day life, we always have some responsibilities and some duties we have to adhere to.
Yeah.
But then zooming out and looking at the life, what helps us to understand the sense of purpose, in the sense, what are we for? Because every person is an individual, and he's shaped for a particular duty. Mm-hmm. Someone is an umbrella, someone is I don't know, like
shoes.
Yes. So how to understand what is your sense of what is your duty in this lifetime? Because there's so many things to do and so many responsibilities and services, but yet each individual has some uniqueness about him or her, so he can utilize that for the greatest thing. So how to define that and how to find out?
I think that is probably pretty much like what you do, what you are doing, Ramananda Prabhu, because we feel we have some respectful devotees. We're getting their recommendations for how we'll conduct ourselves in our particular day and how to, what to do. And in the end, like Srila Saraswati Thakur answered that question. He said our main duty is to change our angle of vision. And that's not just for one, I mean, I'm not trying to ignore the details of your question, because I know that this is something everyone thinks about, and it's really important. But our angle of vision, if we keep doing different things and we're not in a mood of what I am now and how I'm seeing things now is not correct yet. It's not correct. I'm not seeing divinity around me. And those lessons that are coming in our lives, they're actually to change how we're looking at the environment. So that internal work is the central heartbeat of everything we do, no matter where we are. You know, somebody's on the battlefield and somebody else is making cakes somewhere, but the unifying practice and purpose of the Vaishnava is to change my angle of vision of the prejudices of what I think should be to the deeper vision that Krishna's trying to give me through all the lessons that are coming in my life. And that's not easy. Sometimes it's more obvious. Like, say somebody comes up and says something that I think is really mean to me, or something like that, like, oh, you know. And then I remember, my Lord, you arranged this. Nothing can happen if he doesn't arrange it. Not anything. Guru Maharaj said whether this leaf is in the wind going this way or this way, that is 100% divine. But do I see that? Am I seeing that every single movement in existence is full of sweetness? And meaning and deep relevance. So we're practicing that, actually. And all the other things that we do that are favorable for that remembrance and that practice, those are serving that central sadhana. Am I being really vague?
No.
Ramananda Prabhu also.
It's a adjustment of the angle of vision to the extent where one can see things for what they are, rather than that demo version which we currently.
Yeah, the mind has got these prejudices that we've picked up over how many lifetimes.
Yeah.
And so say something happens that I don't like. It's just wrong. Oh my, why is that? Oh no, and you know, maybe we're angry or whatever our mind has decided is going to make things work out for me in this world. Like, I'll be depressed, or I'll go to bed, or I'll get up and I'll start a campaign against injustice. Whatever it is our mental condition at the moment. That's going to come forward. But then you remember, you arranged this, my Lord, and it is good. It cannot be bad. It cannot be bad.
Spoke about that every wave is favorable.
Yeah, it's really important.
Materialistic person, he classifies between positive and negative experiences.
Exactly.
But for a devotee, every experience is a positive because he learns from it, and it helps him to further progress in spiritual life.
And his learning can be very, very direct, meaning sharanagati. Not working out in the factory of my intellect of, yeah, I heard this, actually that's good. But just bowing down. I mean, obviously we could, we're doing that too. We're trying to think through this shastra anyway. But actually bowing down personally to Krishna. Sometimes we leave Krishna out of Krishna consciousness. But actually he's there. He's very close to everyone. Very, very close. And just bowing down and saying, this is good for me, my Lord. I don't know how it's good for me, but I know it's good for me. Now, what is my seva? Please engage me in your service. And sometimes the result of that is very surprising. You will suddenly see, Guru Maharaj said, you will see a devil as God. because it was your vision that made that thing look evil. When actually the Lord has sent that, and suddenly I'm seeing the whole thing as so much more clearly than before, simply by bowing down and saying, yes, this is good for me. He can change our angle of vision. How are we going to do that? How am I going to change my angle of vision? I don't know what to change it to, but he can do that. And so, anyway, there's so many things. I don't know, Ramananda, maybe I went off on a tangent a little bit, but yeah, so no matter what we're doing, that's why Krishna is saying, and Mahaprabhu said, I'm not Vipra, I'm not Sudra, I'm not this and I'm not that. I'm Krishna's servant. So whatever it is that I'm doing is not the central thing, but that I'm doing it in a mood of surrender. That's the essential thing. And I think that, in Gita, when Krishna says, Sarva Dharman, all that stuff I just told you, get rid of it. I'm right here. Just Sharanam. Mame kam Sharanam. Just me alone. You surrender to me, and I will remove all those things from you that are the burdens of illusion. I'll do that. Ma Shuja. I got you. Don't worry about this. You surrender to me, I will change your angle of vision. And you will see that you are surrounded by nectar. The material world is in my own eye. And that's it's not an easy practice. It's really hard. Sometimes it's just really, really difficult to remember that because you feel bewildered. But then you call up your friend who's, going to say, yeah, but this, and then you say, yes, my Lord, this is your grace. Everything is your grace. I bow down to you. I'm bewildered. I don't know what to do or what's happening, or whatever it is. And I bow down to you. You have sent this lesson to me, and you are so charming. I was going to do some good service, and then I got really sick, and now I can't go, and the trains are held up, and the traffic, and oh my God, this is, and I was going to do all this service, and they said, oh, wait a second. I've got a teeny little boat in an infinite ocean, but the captain of that ship controls the wind, controls the clouds, controls the current, and he's perfect, and he can give all paraphernalia. So, yes, my Lord, somehow or other you want me sitting in this car in the middle of traffic instead of doing this wonderful seva that I was going to do, or try to do. And then sometimes, from time to time, just that gesture, and you can feel something different. Like, don't forget me. You're surrendering to me, right? You're not surrendering to some idea or something that you do. Let me be the center. And I can make you into anything. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I can be an insect. Where's the seva in that? Surrender is the essence of what we're doing. And we have to try to remember that. And in any circumstance, that's the central service.
To what extent we have to deepen our understanding in certain things and work on developing of certain skills. There's quite a lot to learn. I don't know, Jiva Goswami wrote Satsandarbhas, Baladev Vidibhushan. There's so many
Right.
so much teachings which are there for us to learn, but at the same time, if one is trying to aspire to understand those things for the sake of self-aggrandizement, it becomes
mundane.
ego thing, right? But then
Yeah.
at the same time, it's there for
Yeah.
to be learned and understand and reached.
Yeah.
So, to what extent we have to go and actually like explore that,
Yeah.
or not.
No, it's a really good question, and it's like you're saying, there's a little bit of a razor's edge there. You know, we're always on a tightrope between the absolute and the relative, and we don't want to get too much to misidentify the essence of what we're trying to do with something relative. And so, for example, a person who has no scholarship tendencies, they may have a deeper connection than a scholar. So, in other words, if that's your nature and you really have a burning desire to fill your heart and mind with siddhanta for the sake of doing some seva, there's no harm in it. But don't forget, I mean, again, what Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj said, yesterday you made me dance, and today you stopped my dancing. Guru Maharaj quotes Milton. Milton wrote a poem called On His Blindness. John Milton was a really very famous author in medieval England, right? Or how long? Paradise Lost, right. And he wrote a poem, and I think this is a really relevant thing, because, and Guru Maharaj quotes this poem, and I happened to memorize it in 6th grade. I don't remember if I can, but when I consider how my life is spent, are half my days in this dark world and wide, and that one talent, which is death to hide, lodged with me useless. He can't write. He's going blind. And then it says, doth God exact day labor? Is he demanding day labor, what you do with light, and doesn't give you light? Is that what he's doing? Is that his nature? That he expects me to write and he doesn't give me light? And then he says, but patience to prevent that question soon replies, God doth not need either man's works nor his own gifts. So we always have to remember this. We're trying to make an offering. And then the result will come. This is something I wrote down really recently. Guru Maharaj said, offer everything to the infinite. All your efforts, whatever they are, scholarship, becoming a really good cook, doing your best in whatever you're doing, do it well, but offer it to the infinite, and he will mold it in his own way, and then give you the result that is the best thing. It could be success, it can be failure, it can be taking you on a whole other path. And Guru Maharaj said, when you come to one door and it doesn't open, don't waste your energy. See where he's pushing you. So these are the really fine points of sadhana. So what I'm saying, I'm not trying to skirt your specific question. I'm just telling you my own understanding of these things, but we all love to read these things, but they have to have life. Otherwise, knowledge becomes mundane, even if it's from the scriptures. It has to have the life. And what's the life? Anchancha dulabha prema, kari bare dana, shikaye sharanagati bakatera prana. What did Mahaprabhu come to do? He came to teach surrender, because that's the life. of our practice. It's the life of our, it is life. It's what life is, forever. So we have to, it's not so important what we do, but why we're doing it. For whom am I doing this? And he'll remind us. I mean, we're conditioned souls, right? We're going to do stuff for the wrong reason. This happens. We can't hardly help it. But Krishna knows how to modify us. You say, well, so Bhakti Thakur says, and somebody goes, no, he didn't. And you're like, oh, he didn't? And then you feel like an idiot. And Krishna's very clever. He knows how to cut the ego and go and remind us, don't be the big guy. Don't be the important thing. You may have a little something to do, and tomorrow you may not be able to do it. I may have another job for you. What is the essence? The essence is I'm yours. Guru Maharaj said, play me like a doll. So that is a revolution in our life. It's a revolution in our entire existence. It's an earthquake. It's an absolute shake-up to everything that we've ever identified ourselves with. So it's a real die-to-live program. So these are the essences of our sadhana. And it's not like you're embarking on something and you know what's going to happen. It's living. We don't know where my scholar, I want to study something or other, the Jaiva Dharma or whatever it is. I want to study that. We don't know where that's going to take us. We don't know where any service is going to take me. He knows the purpose. Let him offer to the infinite. Let him mold it in his own way, and he will bring the result. We don't know what it's going to be. And we have to let go of that. We have to let go of that. And maybe we'll let go too much. And then Krishna will go, what was that all about? And then he modify us again. He is the Lord. And I can't say it enough. Sometimes we leave Krishna out of Krishna consciousness. We want him to be an idea or something, like we talk about. Or no, he's the cause of all causes. What does that mean? That means this can't be here unless he wants it here.
The motive is the heart of all deeds. So if there's a wrong motive, then what I'm trying to do would be diverted by the wrong motive. And so, but then at the same time, there's some sort of fulfillment one experiences when he does this or that service.
Mm-hmm.
Certain services, they feel more fulfilling, almost as if you were managed to express your heart through it.
Yeah.
And some services, they are limited to the certain extent you can't fully express your heart in it, so to say. But then how do you how do you know what form of service would be the one who would be the most fulfilling for the heart and the most suitable for you as an instrument? If the drum would play a role of the flute, it wouldn't work, because by his form he meant to do certain activity.
Sure.
So, and then going back to the understanding how to understand what type of tool you are, to know what's your part in this melody, what's your note.
It's an ongoing thing, because the Lord is, he's not only, obviously, we do have a tendency to do certain particular jobs, and we do, but even I mean, if I can just speak from my own experience, even the thing that you really, really love to do, there are lots of lessons in there. And we have to be flexible. We have to really be flexible, because the thing that I may really, really like to do, he may not want me to do that for some time, because I have to modify my internal offering. So that, that's a little bit more, we are trying to become flexible. It's okay, what can I say as an example? Like if you're learning from a sensei, some martial arts, he's going to teach you some basic things, and you like to do this, and you're really good at that, and all this thing. But it's a living thing. There's an interaction going on. So the sensei may one day go, this is good, you're doing very well. And the next day he's going to go and really knock you over. Even when you're doing the very thing that he praised you for yesterday. Because it's living. It's a living thing. But at the same time, you have a right to offer what you have in your hand. That's nothing bad there. But at the same time, we have to be aware of the reciprocation coming in the environment. So we're trying to move ahead internally, and at the same time hone some kind of skill for offering something nicely.
So on the one hand, there is something I can contribute according to my inspiration and capacity, and on the other hand, there is a environment who kind of suggests something, and then you have to kind of like adjust between that what you can offer, want to offer, and what the environment is.
Yeah, we have to remember who the environment is. And like sometimes, I mean, I don't know if this is going to be helpful, but it really was interesting for me that people say, well, there's just certain things that I don't think we should surrender to. And I realized that the word surrender means I see the result of what this surrender is going to be, and I don't think it's a good thing. But surrender is not like that. Surrender is a living thing, and we do not know the result of it. So like, if I surrender this, then I'm just going to be doing this thing the rest of my life, and I really hate doing it. We don't know what. We may be so surprised to see something differently than how I was seeing it before, just through bowing down. It was so different from what I thought that surrender was going to bring to me. We don't know. This is what, ultimately, who knows how long, for a million of lifetimes, for me, maybe never, I don't know. But that is what Leela is. Leela is constantly changing. It's something new. It's not like, oh my God, I have to go across the river to sell milk again. I guess I'll surrender to that. Same old thing. Nobody knows what's going to happen from that. That's an important thing, to just become flexible and let ourselves be modified. And this is our practice, and this is not something that we're going to get really great at overnight. It's not easy at all, but it is what we're doing. And if we forget that, we're going to become some kind of institution of what stuff looks like. Right? This is what it looks like. It looks like this, and it looks like that. Oh, that doesn't look like that. That's not spiritual. We're going to get all external. But that's not, Krishna's not like, he's not held by our standards and our, You know, we have the Vidya, we have our practicing life, and it's important. It's really helpful. It gives us structure, it gives us community, it gives us many, many things. But it's not the essence. The life of that is Sharanagati. And we don't know where that's going to lead us internally. It may be just the opposite of what I had in mind. But it will be so glorious. No matter what Krishna does, he can go like that and the whole universe disappears and feel like, oh, so charming. He's charming. There's not a single thing Krishna does that's not charming. And we have to find that in our existence. Right now, what I see is not true. Why? Because I'm exploiting. If I want to exploit you, Ramananda Prabhu, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to be nice to this guy because I know he's got some money in his pocket. I'm never even going to know you. And this is our nasty relationship with the divine reality. To exploit is offensive. It's just wrong. It's it's Ravana trying to steal Sita, but what does he steal? He can't even see Sita. We're like these little Ravanas. And that's why we're seeing the material world. It's all in my own garbage, my own wrong attitude toward existence. But behind that, that's just a little veneer. It's just like this shuddhabas. What is it called?
Screen.
Chiddabas. That's where we're seeing everything through this shadow. But it's not a shadow. If I see this as a horse, it doesn't mean that it is a horse. It's a mridanga. So the fact that I'm seeing reality wrong doesn't mean it's not wondrous. It's not sweet. It's not full of affection and guardianship. It is. The whole of existence is remarkably wonderful. But I'm nasty, and I'm utilizing it, I'm getting the reaction, and then I'm blaming the whole thing on the environment. The environment didn't do anything. I was the one who was offensive. That's why we were saying, a wicked mind brought me into this world, oh Lord. Well, it's keeping, that wicked mind still alive and well. But we have to realize that the illusion is not a thing. Illusion is an illusion.
Perspective, certain perspective.
It's not a thing. Like, that's illusion.
But the problem of that, the formation of mind, intellect, and acquired sense of self, this already is like a secondary creation. So we, as we are, as we think of ourselves, this already came into being, already having that tendency to consume and exploit.
Yeah, it's true.
And then you realize that the whole faculty you developed, it's designed for that, for exploiting and taking. Like even the hands there, they're designed like that.
Yeah.
So and then how do you like ignore that tendency, that habit, or that perception which is so deeply ingrained into your nature, and go back, so to say, but back to the state where you're not interested in consuming, where you want to give instead of taking. You might be saying, oh, consciously, yes, I want to serve, I want to give, but then there's something within, deeper than the mind, deeper than the ego, like there, what is set to consume or take, or even noticing things which could bring some profit or something. If you try to dissect every object you see, the things which you are capable of noticing is that what can be used.
So that's where surrender comes in, because we have our guardian. Goptra Trivarnam is the central root of the 6 limbs of surrender. I mean,
Simpsons.
right? Gopchutre Varna means I'm not alone. I'm not some orphan just wandering the mean streets of exploitation and eating out of the garbage pails of the sense objects. I'm not that anymore. I have a guardian. I am with my guardian. And so we don't want to get overly, analytical, because we just find ourselves like a hamster on a wheel, We're not going to work it out. But we have our guardian, and it's obvious I'm fully conditioned soul, but that's not reality. We don't want to get like, Maya means to take Maya seriously, or to think that it's real. So we don't want to get too, just like, you're my guardian, my Lord. And I know that you won't leave me. So I take shelter of you in the steps of my life. And you are so affectionate. And Gurudev's so affectionate. Tulsi Devi is so affectionate. The Lord coming in as the deity, so much affection. Even the Mridanga is affection. Actually, the whole environment is affectionate. But, so we're in a happy journey. We're not hopeless at all. So that tendency may have come to me, and it may still be with me, but Guru Maharaj said, once you find a good doctor, as good as cured. So we want to keep that hopefulness in front of us at all times, and not get like, oh my God, how are we going to do this? Because we're not going to do it. Krishna can do it, but we can't really, who wants to make progress towards Krishna without Krishna? And without Gurudev? You know what I mean? I think, was that a relevant answer? It's really important to remember that. Super, super important. Krishna's super affectionate. He wants what's best for me more than I want it, and he knows what's best for me more than I know it. So this understanding of the guardian is essential, especially for intellectual people. I've seen too many intellectuals think themselves into a bleak place. It's not good to do that. We do think about things. I don't mean that, but you know what I mean. We don't want to get all. Remember, surrender. Surrender is the essence. The whole purpose of Siddhanta is to understand surrender. Did he want to add something?
Just one thing. Sridhar Maharaj says that a virtuous attitude will help you achieve sense control. Like mind, sense control. I want to consume this. I want to exploit this for my own sense gratification, for my own attempt for fulfillment. That we're hardwired for this consumption, acquire, like Goswami Maharaj says, acquire, control, consume. We are like machines out to consume everything for our own self. But a virtuous attitude, for example, that would be like, I want this beautiful thing, I want it for myself. I want to consume it. This beautiful person, this beautiful thing, I want to consume it for my own sense gratification. But if we are virtuous thinking, we can think that person, that thing is meant for Krishna, not for me, not for my consumption. Then you will automatically achieve sense control from that angle of vision, that adjustment of your mind. So that, like, everyone's trying to consume what's beauty, what attraction they experience in this world. But everything, including myself, all of ourselves, we are all meant for Krishna. Everything in the environment's meant for Krishna, not for our consumption. So that attitude, that angle of vision, will adjust us.
What
And-
do you do with hunger?
Hunger, we take
Prasadam.
prasadam. Mahaprasad.
Mahaprasad is a conscious thing.
Yeah.
Mahaprasadam is not come by accident. Everything's coming saturated with affection. Mahaprasad is a living thing. We're not dealing with matter anymore. We're not dealing with that idea. Mahaprasadam has come by its own will to give me nourishment and open up my heart and purify the world. So that we're dealing with the conscious plane now, not with stuff. We're surrounded by, actually the whole environment is made of a higher thing than I'm made out of. It's of a higher nature than I am. But what does that mean? It means I'm surrounded by guardians, loving person, loving conscious person, all for my benefit. Everything that happens is actually beneficial for me. Can you imagine that? At every moment, there is a synergistic adjustment to every living being at the same time. Through the environment. That's a miracle, and it's true. But we don't like it. We want to be the one in charge, we want to be this and that, but that is a fact. Everything's miraculous and conscious and sweet. And we want to go to that plane of existence. And that's what we're here for each other for. To help each other to remember this. And come to a plane where we're walking on our head happily. Like with unbelievable, wondrous gratitude. Guru Maharaj said you will see the whole environment with what the word he used? You will see the entire environment with, what do you call that word? Like with worship. You will feel a sense of worship, reverence to everything. You will. Guru Maharaj said, you will see that. You will see a wondrous thing all around you.
So that if you ever get there, you would want to walk on your head because every particle is of a higher nature than
you are.
Yeah.
And higher means sweetness. Sweetness and affection. Really affectionate. Home comfort. All around. And we've got battles to fight. But those are our battles. And what we're fighting with is the tendency to not be modified. To not allow the Lord to make me wonderful. Guru Maharaj said, you will not believe the beauty of your own self in relation to the Lord. So we want our temples to represent a life of surrender. What is that? Positive and progressive immortality. It's constantly progressive. It's constantly positive, and it is forever. That's the life we're trying to lead. It's forever. It's what forever means. Can't turn any mundane phenomenon into forever. Not gonna happen. But forever is in relationship to the Lord. And that is the essence of our sadhana, and it's what we need to talk about. Gurudev says, what has happened, what is happening, what will happen, it is all good. He said, we always want to how does he put it? We will never want to have something different than what my Lord wants. Like that. So, I wrote this down, but I can't remember exactly how Gurudev said this, but it's very sweet. And something I wrote down just a couple of days ago, Guru Maharaj said, don't despair or don't be disappointed. I forget the exact words. He said, nothing that happens cannot be Krishna's will. So don't worry. Nothing that happens can be not Krishna's will. Nothing. Not anything. We can begin to see sweetness in the movement of anything. But the only problem is that we have some prejudice in our mind. Well, that's not good. And maybe I have to do something about it. Maybe it's something broke and I have to fix it. But why did that come into the purview of my consciousness? If a guy comes in here and he's a violent man, I'm not going to be like, hey, that's great. That's great. That's Krishna's arrangement. Yes, Krishna's allowing that to happen, but for what reason? What is my job? What is my job now? Why has this come on the screen of my consciousness? He's the only guy Krishna's the only one who can. He's Rishikesh. You can't perceive anything unless he wants you to. So we have to see that. And then our service will come. Maybe it's call the cops or knock him over the head or I don't know, off with his head. Whatever it is, I don't know. If you're a Jew and you're just lopping off heads all day long, and somebody else may have another thing, but nothing can happen that Krishna doesn't want to happen. That is a fact. Otherwise, how is there science and you don't know that? Scientists don't know anything if they don't know that. If they go to the bottom of their science, they've got nothing. They haven't answered a single question. They're just observing what, but they don't know why. They don't know. Consciousness is behind that.
But how can we know what we have to do at this particular moment? How we can
Just make your best offering. You make your best offering. And Krishna will modify that. And he'll send the reciprocation. And we'll grow moment to moment.
Actually, that question I asked you also while we were walking, that tendency to want to understand why things are happening, right?
Yeah.
But hearing you speak about really the process of submitting, offering my dandava to this given situation, to the Lord, actually makes me feel that all things we can adjust by seeing them as coming into our vision for our purification and rectification. That's sort of like the golden thread throughout everything.
Yeah.
What exactly that means or something is may or may not be revealed.
Right.
But is secondary to
Yeah.
my need to submit. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to, like, yeah, it's so important because we want to know the whole picture, and we don't. We're making progress into a plane of consciousness that we don't know yet. We don't know what it is and how this synergy is happening. All of the living beings in the whole room or the whole city or the whole planet and all the universe, everything's being adjusted. Guru Maharaj said there's so many karmas all around, and everything is being adjusted simultaneously. And I'm one of those. But he's not this one person and there's this big crowd and he doesn't really know anyone personally. He knows everyone personally. He is that person who we want to know us personally. That one person we've always been looking for. That perfect person who really knows me, you know? He not only knows me, but he knows how to make everything wrong right.
There was a joke about this, the destiny and karma of multiple creatures, that the plane is falling and someone is praying to the Lord, can you save me? Can you save me? And he hears the answer, do you know how long it took me to gather all you guys here?
Right.
So, yeah.
Or
That's
Guru
no
Maharaj
wonder.
said, you know, the thief is saying, oh God, please make me successful tonight. And the householder is saying, please, Lord, protect me from the thief. And Prabhupada said, and the Lord is like, what do I do? We can't see, but he can see. So if we surrender, then we will see through his eyes. Not that we're going to see the infinite, but we want to see through his vision. He can show us a wholly different way. And what I'm seeing is wrong. It's so wrong. But we are so conditioned and attached to the pain of our wrong vision. It's painful, isn't it? It's like, that guy, man, he keeps doing this thing and I can't stand it. And we're just suffering and suffering and suffering. And then we go, oh my Lord, you are sending this person to do this. This is good for me. And suddenly, maybe not always, but suddenly you can see that thing so differently. It looks so innocent, and you're the wrong one. You're the troublemaker. And you couldn't see it. Not forever. I mean, I'm just giving you an example. Like suddenly, everything can start looking so innocent. And you're like, oh my God, I'm the problem. But you can't see it on your own. You can't. You can't change that prejudice so easily. But of course, we've got the holy name, Jaito Darpanamarjanam, and our devotional life, our association with the devotees, so many facts, circumambulating Srimati Tulsi Devi, so many things in taking Mahaprasadam, so many things are coming to purify us. But Sharanagati is the central principle of sadhana. Let him do it.
And they say that the Lord speaks to the person through the language of circumstances. So the events which occur around us, they can be misread when we try to impose a certain meaning or certain connotation.
Yeah.
Oh, this is like that because that's our contribution, our interpretation. But actually, when you mentioned that certain things can be innocent and they have their own meaning, but my problem is that I impose my own meaning upon the environment, and I choose to live in that
cage,
demo version of reality.
That solitary confinement cell.
Which is
Really, right?
attached to this ego. So the ego makes it, and wherever you go, you bring your luggage with you
Yeah.
and your interpretation of the
Right.
events
And the ego is like a big brass band. I mean, it's not easy to ignore it.
Yeah.
Never! I will never put up with that. It's like, okay, but it's still gonna happen. So, what are you doing? You want to go crazy, or you want to bow down and see the divine purpose?
It's almost like a necessary arrangement because to acquire personality and sense of to be a person, to be an individual, one must possess ego, which will separate one from the environment. So, in some point, that's necessary to acquire a sense of self. But once you get that and you consider yourself to be individual, then you have to start layering yourself from that ego. And that's kind of like painful because every time you have to die as who you are
Yeah.
to reveal that there's a newer version of yourself, which again becomes new you. And then again that has
And then
to go.
antithesis will come.
Yeah.
And then synthesis.
And there's circumstances which we are constantly bombarded by, they are favorable in the sense that they are pointing out to that part of like
Perfect.
ego.
They're perfect.
Yeah, they're gonna like bump into
Yeah.
us to
Mhm.
show that, oh, this is actually that you can
Yeah.
get rid of that. You know, well, it's painful. You get rid of that and you feel lighter.
Yeah, it's not. It's only painful to the mind.
Yeah.
And Guru Maharaj said, we must understand, this moment is the necessity for my progress. This moment is the necessity for my progress. This event, this circumstance. It is what I need right now. Krishna's not like sloppy.
Yeah.
It's pinpoint accuracy.
So it's a perfect arrangement for you.
Perfect arrangement.
So the-
Everywhere, all the time.
So that prescribed duty, that's like the tool one uses to get rid of the wrong sense of self,
Yeah,
to get to the point where he knows what the real duty is.
yeah.
Which
Whatever
is
we're
not from the
doing.
environment,
Yeah.
but like Jaiva Dharma, the duty of the
Right.
heart.
Jai. We went a little longer than we expected.
Yeah. But it was
Is it
so
ki-
wonderful.
Is it kind of like late now, or is this normal time?
Normal time.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Anyone's going to work tomorrow
Yeah.
or something?
You mean?
Yeah.
And Guru, yeah, this is the sadhu, lazy, intelligent.
But actually, until we point the finger toward ourselves, we can't see.
Yeah, and we,
Like we always
Yeah.
see things wrong.
yeah. But at the same time, we must do that in surrender.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll become like, oh, I'm just so, and we'll start misidentifying with that also. Like that I'm so wrong and I'm this. But actually, we are souls. You know, it's really, the mind will do anything but surrender. So we got to be, he's coming up with all these little tricks and,
This is a form of self-preservation, in a way, because to preserve your character and to grow it, so to say, you kind of like become something more in this world, and this is acquiring new layers and new
Yeah.
status and new appreciation from others. But the surrender is the opposite way, where you're delayering, you're removing that, and for the mind, obviously, it's becoming something lesser than you were before, and
well, it's an addiction.
yeah.
It's like we have, we have so many addictions. And addictions are unnecessary and painful. They're unnecessary and painful. And we think, without that thing, I'm gonna die. I won't be able to exist.
I won't be me.
Yeah, and I won't be able to exist if I don't have distinction. Pretty much anytime we're disturbed, we've lost distinction. Rise above the rest, my son. distinction, adoration. I just want to be loved. It's just so nonsense. And profit. Those are the three things. And all the time when we're suffering is one of those things is getting, wait a minute, that was not respecting me. I think I'm offended. I'm pretty sure I'm offended. I am offended. It's like, what about what? But it's all addiction. It's not necessary. It's not, we don't really, but we do feel that way. If I'm not noticed enough, then I don't exist. And, so we're plying these waters gradually. It's a gradual process. We can't make something happen suddenly. But Krishna's bringing the deeper and deeper realizations of these things in a very natural way. And then gradually we're just like, what was my problem about that? But it takes some time, right? It takes some time because you want to feel like you're on some kind of steady ground while you're going forward. Not that the rug comes out from under you and you're floating in nowhere land. So it is a step-by-step thing. It takes some time. And that's okay because it's just a wonderful process.
There was this example of the caterpillar who becomes butterfly, and it's a struggle for a butterfly because it stops to move, and then he tries to climb from inside of that caterpillar who became a cocoon, and then it's a very harsh process, but in the middle of that process the butterfly develops its strength. And then there was a case when a scientist, he tries to cut the cocoon to help the butterfly to fly out, but it couldn't because it didn't develop enough. It didn't put effort into that. So that's why maybe disentanglement of this conditioning, maybe in a way it's that's why it's so gradual.
It is gradual, and it's important because Krishna knows when we are prepared for the next step. Like everything comes at a particular time. That you weren't in a position to understand something, and then now you can understand more readily. And sometimes Krishna gives you exactly what you want. But in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in a purport, Srila Prabhupada said, Krishna will give the devotee what they want in a way that they'll never want it again. And other times he's just withdrawing it. And then all of a sudden you're like, who wants that? That's just a big bunch of nonsense. He knows what he's doing. He's very, very clever.
Dhruva Maharaj, when the Lord appeared in front of him, he said, I don't want it anymore.
Right.
He said, I'm sorry, you asked. Dhruva Loka, the highest point of material world, now you're the king, go and have your kingdom. He said, yeah, but I saw you, now for me it's like a piece of shattered glass. It has no value. Yeah,
but you have some service to do
you
for
asked
me.
for it, so I did it. Yeah.
And he's saying, it's like, I still want to give it to you. I really want to give something to you. Very affectionate. And that's a nice example. But anyway, he knows exactly right. He knows exactly what to do with that. And there are times when it's going to be really hard. And then you have a friend to talk to about that. Or call someone up and, oh my God, this and that. And you're wow, that's tough. Yeah, I get that. That's really hard. But there's a reason behind all of these things. I know. Sometimes you just need to give a little sympathy, get the calm, and then just some gentle reminder. Because it can be hard. It's not easy. Die to live is not going to be like always fun. What did you say to live? What was that first part? So we can be really sympathetic with our friends and give some encouragement and, be gentle, and at the same time a little bit more strict with our own selves, because, not strict, but, trying to remember what it is that we're doing. And what we're doing really is a Sharanagati. That's what Krishna consciousness will always be.
Is there a correlation between going deeper and becoming harder?
How would I know?
You know, Didi.
Becoming
Going
Harder.
deeper and it becoming harder.
like character-wise.
No, he's saying in the process.
Yeah.
Because, well, the thing is, like Guru Maharaj was saying, it reminds me of this, because he's, like somebody, will come and have trouble with drugs, right? It's a big thing. He's saying, but drugs are not a really deep thing. You need to give it up one day, or hopefully as soon as possible. But those aren't the deep ones. But when you start getting to the deep ones,
It's subtler, isn't it?
it's what's made the world go around ever since I've ever known that I exist. Kanaka, Kamini, and Pratishta. Distinction, adoration, and profit. Those are big ones. Those are the deep ones. And Krishna will definitely arrange that we will learn those hard ones and become detached. But we're not going to be able to do that on our own. I mean, we can learn our lessons.
So in the beginning, those type of lessons, they're there, but you don't notice them because you're too not refined. Like the tendency for recognition. Like you can notice that within your character in some
Yeah.
situations, but before that was
You didn't even know
also
it was
there.
normal.
You just completely went over the roof.
Yeah, it's
You
normal.
never noticed it.
Yeah.
And so, at some point, those things become more and more evident to the extent where it's same as object. Like I can see
Exactly.
object, I see that.
Yeah.
And that type of thing, like I do something, some action, but then I'm already noticing my own motivation, which makes me do this action.
Yeah.
That motivation is not subtle anymore. I see that
Yeah.
exploited tendency in
Yeah.
it, and trying to avoid it, so it becomes like less objective and more subjective.
Yeah.
And you
Exactly.
Go to
Yeah.
the
Right. That's true. And we always pray. Pray to Nityananda Prabhu. Oh, I'm sitting here talking about detachment from prestige, and I'm doing it because I think I'm sounding pretty good. And then for example, or whatever it is we're doing, and then you think, Nityananda Prabhu, look what an idiot I am. It's wonderful because all of our faults will come to the light of day and be purified. And that's a wonderful day. It's not like you regret that. You're like, we've made a little bit of progress in this way, but we are only making progress through surrender. We don't want we don't want to be the big tough guy and all this thing, like some stoic, or, the Stoics have some good points, but I'm just saying, I think Bhakti Lalita made such a nice point that through a virtuous attitude, what I'm doing that for is nasty or sucks, I've noticed, like you're saying, it becomes a really solid thing that I'm noticing, and we're putting our endeavor into that. But Guru Maharaj said this beautiful thing. He said, Krishna, it was Srila Gurudev. These are very recent things I heard. And Srila Gurudev was saying, Krishna, he likes us to make some endeavor and go to him. He likes that. That's nice. We also have to make that endeavor. But don't leave him out of it. Start wearing hair shirts and, flat, self-whipping. Then you get all bitter. Look at that person. He's not even humble. It's like our heart is supposed to become more gentle as we go along. Not in harshness. But anyway, we have our guardian. We may go off this way. We
Will go off.
pretty much guaranteed, and we're going to go off this way. But he's so clever. We just have to listen. I'll just finish up, but I wanted to tell one little story. Tanushri, when she was a little girl, Jaishri went up to, she's my granddaughter. Anyway, she's just a little teeny girl. And Jaishri went up to see Gurudev one morning. And Gurudev gave Tanushri this enormous chocolate bar. I mean, it was really, really big. And she was little. And she's like, and Gurudev handed it down to her like she's just playing. And before she took it, she looked up to see who's giving me this. And he said, oh, very intelligent. She didn't just take it. Oh, yeah, here's the thing. But so I always like that story because you have to remember to look up. Where's it all coming from? Where's my experience today coming from? Look up. See that there's someone behind it. There's a consciousness of Krishna's there. Consciousness. But not only Sat, not only Chit, but what we're searching for is Ananda. And he is that. And we always want to look up. Oh, you're sending me this, my Lord. You're sending me this. You want this. And sometimes we look at our own faults and just go, oh, it's home. Like, oh my God, I'm never going to be. But that's also, now you're giving me some consciousness about this, my Lord. You're so kind. We just want to become conscious of Krishna. Anyway, Jai Gurudev, Jai Guru Maharaj, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srimati Tulsi Devi ki Jai, Jai Shishi Guru Gaurasundar, Gauranga Sundar, and Radha Giridhari Ju ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya SCSMath ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya SCSMath West London ki Jai, and Kolkar Tal ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, all the assembled devotees ki Jai, in this beautiful day that the Lord has given us. Oh my God, I just have to give you one more quote. Guru Maharaj said, you think you can challenge the infinite? That you exist, you must thank him. That you will continue to exist, you must thank him. We've got this day, we've got this existence to love him, to be loved, to have some service, to become gentle in the heart. We have such a nice prospect in our life. We should never become discouraged. We will sometimes, but we have our friends. And also, don't get distracted by anything external in the name of Krishna consciousness. All that stuff's just dust. And we can just say, okay. But that's not what I came here for. I want to keep on this straight and narrow. Anyway, Hari Bol. Jai Gurudev ki Jai.